I gave people all the stuff they really needed. Social Security checks, utility bills, TV guide.
I want a TV guidance counselor. TV guidance counselor. Staying up to watch all night, and everything's gonna be alright with my TV guidance counselor.
Hey everybody, welcome to TV Guidance Counselor. I'm Ken Reed, your TV Guidance Counselor, and this is the show where each and every week I welcome an interesting guest to discuss classic television, usually using an issue of TV Guide from my personal collection. We don't do that this week. We do discuss classic television, but we didn't use the guide. Didn't need it, frankly. My guest is the fantastic singer-songwriter musician Will Dailey. Will's another Boston guy. We have a good music chat here, a good chat about television, pop culture in general, sort of how we consume things. So Will has done quite a number of amazing things, but he currently has a non-release album called Boys Talking. It'll make sense when you hear it here, but you can go to willdailey.com and also get kind of the lowdown there. But it's a really fascinating approach to releasing music or not releasing it, and how we experience sort of media and art, and it's very fun. And also just a good dude, down-to-earth dude, and I enjoyed talking to him. So, also someone pointed out last week was my 700th episode. I had trouble saying 700th. 700th episode, which is true in the numbering system, but then I just checked and it was actually episode number 748. So this is 701, but it's really 749. So next week will be 750. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me either, but well over 700 episodes, which is bonkers. And I thank you guys for listening, and there are several of you who have listened to all 700 plus episodes, which is a lot of time to have my voice in your ear holes. So thank you so much. I very much appreciate it, and here's to 700 more. I hope not. Yeah, I mean, maybe a couple hundred more. I don't know. Anyway, please sit back, relax, and enjoy this week's episode of TV Guidance Counselor with my guest, Will Dailey.
TV is my friend, and it has been always there for me in time of need.
Live via satellite from probably only a few miles from me. Will Dailey, how are you, sir?
I'm good, yeah. I am probably only a few miles from you.
That's all right. It's how I do it now. It's so weird how, like, I used to always do these in person, and I'd go to New York, and I'd go to LA, and now, like, post-COVID, like, that seems crazy. I'm like, people just do it from home. How could I ever convince anyone to come over here or me to go there?
And it's 100 degrees out right now, so
it's incredibly hot. It's disgusting.
We'd have to undisgust ourselves in front of each other if we were to be together to do this. You know, be like,
nobody likes
I need to shower real quick.
I have had people do that. You'd be surprised some celebrities have undisgusted themselves in front of me on hot days. I could write a book about it. But yes, that is the nature of Boston. We both grew up here. We were discussing a little bit before, like, how we're still here. It's weather like this when I'm like, why am I here still? Where you're like, oh, it's 110 degrees and gross, and then it's also negative 40 in 2 months. Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Winters have kind of disappeared though, in a weird way, to when I was a kid. In a weird way, we know why. We know what chased winters away, and we're all kind of responsible. I don't know. I like the grit of it being here too. And when I started like touring internationally, I found that people were so interested to talk to an artist that wasn't from New York, or LA, or Nashville.
Yep.
So.
And especially Boston too. Like when I lived in London, like I felt more comfortable there than I did having like Atlanta. Like I was like, oh, this feels like a part of Boston I've never been to.
100%.
It was so
100%.
Weird.
I'm more scared in many places of America than I would be in most places of the world.
It feels so alien. Like that's the hardest thing to convey to. And this fits into actually some of the stuff I want to talk to you about was it's hard to convey to people who don't live in America how massive it is and how different it is all across, and how we're not, obviously every country, everyone isn't of the same mind, but it's like, especially here. There's a saying that I first heard from Alan Moore, but I'm sure someone else said it, was that in America, 100 years is a long time, and in England, 100 miles is a long distance. And I'm like, that sums it up. So it's this weird, inability for people to understand that there's not like a homogenous experience of one country in America because it's so big.
Yeah.
And the reason that kind of fits into what I want to talk to you about was, you know, a couple of things we talk about on this show here. And I think what you've been trying to do the last few years with like the sort of distribution of the way you do music is, you know, this show's all about sort of those of us that grew up pre-millennium, like shared experience and that kind of stuff. It's the shared experience thing, which is actually experiencing something with people, like not just you saw it all at different times in different environments and other stuff. And the other thing is value to art. And what I mean by that is investment. So even, you know, $10 or whatever, paying a nominal fee for something, invest someone. And there were so many albums I got that I hated. And because I spent $10 or $20, I sat there and I listened to that thing till they ended up being like one of my favorite albums.
Yeah, you found some songs on it, even if you'd find, well, damn it, I'm going to find 2 songs in here that I like, and it would happen. I don't have the specifics and the data on exactly how it's been detrimental to us, although we could fill many hours of conversation.
I'm sure.
Make a dissertation by just trying to put the pieces together. I just know that I want to feel like I'm not saying, hey, just click on me. I need to get my numbers up, my followers. Thank you guys. Thank you all so much. Hey, y'all, blah, 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 all this stuff. Yeah. And these measurements that are now not even, they're kind of boring. Like someone was just showing me an artist with 1 billion streams, and there's artists out there with 100,000 followers that can't sell a ticket to a show.
Yeah.
And someone with 1 billion streams, like, what is that number? And, you know, what if I would say something like Thriller? Like, what if Frank Sinatra started with Spotify? Would he be in the trillions? And what does that mean? And who just doesn't equal anything. It equals, and it's kind of tiring to use this word, equals a capitalistic measurement instead of a soul measurement.
But not money, at least not for the artist.
Yeah, I mean, 1 billion streams is money, but it depends. If you're independent, you have 1 billion streams. I have some good stream counts, and the money was good because I was also on the road selling vinyl records and T-shirts and CDs and tape cassettes and all these other experiences to what you brought up that I try to bring to the people that care about me or that want to join me or have that experience with buying my stuff and hating it and like, well, damn it, I'm going to like it somehow.
Yeah, or even like renting a movie. Like I always say now, like you'd spend $4 or $5 on a movie and you'd sit and watch the whole thing even if you hated it, instead of like streaming where you're like, nah, 5 minutes in, don't like it. Or like a song, 10 seconds in, next, you know?
Same. Yeah. So, one of the things that I've been doing for about 2 years now is I have this project that's always at my shows, exclusively at my shows, exclusively on my merch table. It's called the $10 Song. And it's this one song that I recorded in 2021. Came out to be 7 minutes. And that was the impetus that made me think, if I put this online, nobody will finish this song. Right. Like my mother will not finish this song.
She'll tell you she did.
Yeah, she will tell me she didn't. It was lovely, but your aunt called me halfway through, and I had to. And so I shelved it. And then a couple months later, I was driving over to my friend's house that I recorded it with, Dave Brophy, longtime drummer and co-producer. And I put it on. And I thought, wait, I'm really proud of this. Like, we did the thing that you set out to do when you try to put your soul down to tape. And I thought, well, I wish I could just play it for people one at a time. And that's where it actually lives, on my merch table. People pay $10 to listen to something one time in their life. They'll never hear it again. They can't buy it. It's not online anywhere. It's not on YouTube, Spotify, nothing. And you sit there with studio headphones on. If you want, there's a black book that travels with it, has the lyrics inside, and people write and draw in the book. And it's been a profound experience. It rewires me. It's really rewarding, and the reward of it is always right in front of me. It's the next show. It's the next person to listen to it. It's not a stream count online. And look, it's a pain in the ass to make sure that CD player is on. It's on a CD player, portable one. make sure the headphones that got stolen once in New York City. You know, I got to keep. They're nice studio headphones that want you to have the experience. CD player has to be charged. I can't lose that black book. Some clubs aren't conducive to a quality listening experience, but that also just adds to the adventure. And I have dedicated fans who are just like, no, tonight's not the night. It's not perfect. And I had fans who like, this is my sixth listen. I'm like, all right, your sixth one's free. But and people who are like, yeah, man, that's cool, whatever. And people who are bawling at the merch table, just sobbing, who heard me the first time that night, didn't even know who I was. Fans who are angry because they think it's my best song. My manager thinks I'm crazy and is so frustrated. And then you get to have the discussion, is that because of the scenario in which you're listening to you,
Right.
to your point? And it goes back to taking care of myself, taking care of my work, taking care of the people who want to work with me. And I just want I just want to have a good time and feel like I am being heard and feel like I am connecting, because look, I would be doing music if I was shoveling shit outside. I'd be coming in and doing music at night. So my job is more along the lines of what's the role of music in our human connectivity? That is what I view my job as. And if I take care of that job, then I get to make more music after I shovel shit. Because most of the time, doing this job, thinking of marketing, thinking of all this stuff, is like shoveling shit.
Writing the songs and performing is the easiest part.
Yeah. Even when it's hard and miserable,
Yeah.
it's like so... It keeps me alive. And I'm not dramatic. I'm alive because of it. It just keeps me human and open-minded.
Well, it's harder to do that now, like, because I always, I was in punk bands, which isn't the same thing, but then have been doing stand-up, like another, but basically performing live, and especially in the last 15 years or so, to come up with ways to give people something they can only see that night, that they can't get even if it's not a good version of online, or like a thing they need to be at, is increasingly more and more difficult, or at least to convince people of that. And you've come up with a really brilliant way to do it. And it's the value thing as well. So like one of the things we talk about here a lot is when we were watching TV growing up, and part of the reason people of our age group, stuff's burned in our brain is because you're like, I'm never going to see this again. Let me make sure I just soak in every single piece of it. So with that in mind, if it's a song where you're like, I'll never hear this again, you're going to sit there and really pay attention and soak that in and experience it in a way you wouldn't have otherwise.
Absolutely. And that's happening in front of me. People... exactly what you just said, realizing that. Like, I think in the first couple of weeks of doing it, I was playing in Philly, and this guy came who was a super fan. He brought a date. She did not care. Which is like, well, damn it, I'm gonna do this song. She's like, oh, this is the guy you like. Listen to. And she does a song, and afterwards she comes out. She's like, I don't think I've been listening to music for 10 years. I paid you $10 to listen to a song one time, so I told my date to leave me alone. I put my phone away, and then I'm listening, and I'm not even wondering what genre it is or what it's reminding me of. I'm just listening. And she's saying all this, and I'm like, yes.
This is exactly.
This is it. And I'm like, can you repeat all that on camera right now? Because I need to have this reminder. And it was profound to see a human being have that right in front of me. So there's this reciprocal nature to being an artist where the painting of the canvas and all that is cathartic, but going to your art show is also cathartic, and seeing a human being react to it positively, even negatively, having them tell you something negative about it. And if you know your piece intimately and your intention was clear to you, then they're not saying something negative. They're saying something revealing about themselves to you, because you gave them a portal to which to reflect themselves onto you. That's also like often more exciting to me. Not someone who's like, this song is perfect. It isn't sometimes as rewarding as an artist than just see another person. And then I walk away thinking of that person and their lens, and their response might influence me at the next time I'm at the canvas. So yeah, it's a living, breathing song that's just out there with me on the road. And sometimes I mention it, sometimes I don't. Sometimes people know. I did it for a whole year. That was like the thing I was doing. Now I got the new record, and that whole experience also informed the new album.
Right.
It's like, well, I'm not going to release this new album, Boys Talking. I'm just going to tour it for a year physically, have the people who buy it help me select 6 songs to release over, one every 2 months. And that's been weird and healthy too. Because sometimes you just want to be, here it is, it's in the abyss of all our content. Go click on it, tell me you like it.
Move on, yeah.
Believe me, I'll fall asleep every night being like, I just want to put this thing out and be done with it. And then I'm playing a show and everything is real and right in front of me. And people are starting to your point, find room in their hearts and minds with these songs where and if they should take purchase for them. And to your point, every piece of art, every piece of stand-up, every new joke, every film, every scene might just need to find its people. We sometimes give fans too much pressure, and the whole concept of the 1,000 fan rule might be a distraction from the fact that every piece that we create needs to find its connection. And it might not be the person who loved the last piece. And that's true for me. If I love an artist's album that comes out and I freak out, I am going to probably not like their next one.
Yeah.
It's just not going to be the same experience. And, some people are going to love Christian Bale and some people are going to love Pattinson. That's just how it's going to go.
And it's a double-edged sword too, because like, especially with albums, like the more I love an album, the next album, I don't want it to be a copy of the album I liked. So I want it to be new enough that it's exciting. But if it's so different, I'm like, this is not what I like. So it's like this weird sweet spot. I overthink this stuff, which, is what we do. And for years, I've been trying to come up with like the best analogy or like the perfect way to approach art in the current environment. And the best I can come up with is that if we're doing everything right, we're a chef. And what I mean by that is we have our experiences, creativity, and skills that we've built in order to like get what's in our head out in a way that people can experience it. And they have to sit there and experience it, and then it's gone. And then the next night you have to start over again from scratch. You have the recipe and the skill set, but you still got to build it anew every night and have people experiencing it. And the experience is slightly different every night, but consistent. Like that to me is the sort of perfect mix of what it's like to be like an artist who does a performative thing, something live.
Yeah. Yep. And that's how I've done my shows pretty much the whole time. I've never had a set list or this is the show that I'm touring. It's every night is different. The band, because I'm an independent artist, I mean, my band is made up of people who are professionals who are touring. So I have one main drummer who does 80% of everything, but I have 4 others. Same with bass, guitars, keys, everything. And so everything changes, but I feel like I have a career because there's a good, strong club of people that love that and have been with me for a while, and it grows each time when you find your new people per each record. Right. It's like, wow, that show was so different from the last show. But if you're giving it your all each time, as the chef should, and giving them a great meal, to me, that's a career in music.
Yeah, because they're like, I've never eaten that before. I wouldn't order it again, but it was nice to try it. Something like that. Like that's even a good reaction. And it's like, because even your songs, like you've had a bunch of songs like prominently featured in like big shows. Like you had a song I remember in the first, I think it was the first episode of The Good Wife, which is one of the best shows of all time. Or these shows with sort of soundtrack, like, things that you've done, which takes something and puts it in a completely different context than what you would envision. But I imagine a lot of people come to you through hearing stuff on that.
Yeah, no, and I have a whole, I got started in Europe because of that. American shows, the big American shows playing over there. There's a lot of times when those murder shows started using my stuff in the beginning of my career. Like,
oh yeah, CSI, you were actually in, right?
Yeah, I was in a CSI, and I played myself in a fictional show.
Gary Sinise plays bass for you.
Yeah, he had to blow off some steam and sit in with his friend Will Dailey for a time. Like, yes, a murder, something happened. It was all kind of over my head, and I was just like, "Wow, I am all of a sudden on a TV set." The adventure where music can take you is wonderful. I'm designed to say yes to everything at least once.
Sure,
and see where the adventure takes me. Just the fact that a song of mine took me to being on the set of a TV show.
Lieutenant Dan's plucking the foot.
Who was just a marvelous person, and we sat in his trailer, and he wanted to make sure that, is this where your bass player plays it? Does he play here or up here? Because I want to make sure. He's like, I hate when I'm watching something I know it's not where it is, and I'll make sure the cut shows us on the right chords and the right notes that it cuts in close to our hands. That kind of care and attention to detail as a musician. He's a great bass player. It was super special, man. That was a long time ago.
But like, do you, if you're watching something like, and I say this for friends of mine who are actors and stuff too, who are in stuff that I love, I'm like, sometimes I feel bad for them because I'm like, you're in this amazing thing, but can you enjoy it? Like if you hear your own song, does it take you out of it?
It does. I mean, because I don't. It's tough. My ambition metrics are off. So when all that stuff started happening, I was like, cool, this is a fun ride. And then I saw a song of mine in a show or a movie where the cops came into the room and this person had an axe in their back and my song was on the radio.
Right. Just as you envisioned.
Yeah. It's just so different, but a lovely adventure. And again, it's like meeting that person who says, this song means this to me. And just the fact that another creator, artist, or someone who's overwatching art thought like that song would be great. This is what we need. And I hope I kind of walked out of that world because so many people started staying at home and be like, this is what they're using in shows now. So great creators could just stay at home.
Right.
And make songs that should go on TV. So I stopped, spending time shaking those hands, or however I got into that world, because I was just going to continue making the music that I wanted to make.
Right. It's easy to find the formula and sort of reverse engineer that and make a good living. And it's kind of
a little Wild West when I was getting a lot of it, and then it got really organized. And maybe I don't thrive as well with organization. So,
well, you need rules. Like you need rules to, I always like one of the things that sort of, to me, sort of stifles creativity, or, I don't hear, I mean, I'm also old, but I don't hear as many like songs that grab me or new bands as much anymore, because you can do anything. Like you could get a plug-in on your guitar and say, I want this to sound exactly like it's recorded for Black Sabbath's second album or whatever, and have it sound perfectly like that. But now I'm like, well, but now you're not innovating or playing a thing wrong and getting a unique thing.
Totally.
Just like scenes, I feel like cities don't have organic music scenes anymore where all these bands sort of influence each other and are existing in a vacuum and can kind of just marinate for a bit until everybody hears it. Instead, that's true for comedy as well. Instead, we can you can instantly have exactly what you think you want it to sound like that right away and release it to everybody.
Yeah. And everyone's in their silo, releasing their stuff. I speak at Berklee College of Music once or twice a semester as a guest lecturer. And I thought, these kids should be telling me what's up. And there's just so much anxiety in their lives because they're just thinking, they're 18 to 24. I'm not getting traction on TikTok or Spotify or Instagram. And it's like, I got to tell you, I didn't have to worry about that. I had to hang up posters in the street and I had to fill a club with 1,000 people.
Yeah.
First. And that informed everything. And I had to play the song for my friends. And if they didn't react, then I knew it fucking sucked.
Yeah.
So I feel bad for them, because they are getting sucked into, again, it's a tired word, but that capitalistic construct of all our soul energy. So
What puts you in this sort of mediocre middle ground? Like, I always say, like, it's tough, but you'll either get better or quit. But like,
yeah,
there's a lot of people who haven't needed to get better or quit and can just like exist in that middle ground of not having to do either. And it just
and they're musicians with 100,000 followers, but it's not really about their music,
no,
or their philosophy, or anything. It's about them and their lifestyle, and so that it's tough, and you don't get that soup going if you're just in your own laptop making the track, maybe sending tracks back and forth. That's what we were doing for a minute. We were making a record where we were sending tracks back and forth to like friends in LA and stuff like that, and it was coming out great. And then I had this kind of wake up in the middle, like, we have to destroy it all and stop everything and get in the room together and make a record incorrectly. So Boys Talking is live takes, everybody in the room together facing each other. Got a dozen musicians that are better than me, and at 10 o'clock in the morning they would come in and I would say, all right, here's my idea, here's the song. No demos, no pre-prep, everyone react. And between the songs that you listen to on Boys Talking, there's 4 songs online right now, and those are takes, man. The lead vocal, I go, once the take's done, go overdub it, and the guitar solo, then I would go. There's a ton of guitarists on it doing the take with me, and then I would do all the solos later. And occasionally a guest would come in for a backup or some weird instrument, but guitars, bass, drums, keys, sometimes even the lead vocal is the take. And I just like, that's where we need to start from right now. And I need this to be that without, it's like an indie rock roots record. And, and just to be real and for it to find its people and have people be like, some guy wrote a review today about Mild Ride that got released. He's like, this could have been a way bigger production. Like, he didn't see the whole forest. And I get what he's saying, but like, that would have been authentic for a song about 2 men who can't communicate to have a ton of communication in the production,
Yeah.
And it's interesting when people miss that, but it wasn't for him.
Yeah, and it's you can't control everyone's reaction. And you mentioned that friend of the show, friend Juliana Hatfield, was one of the people in the room plays there. I love Juliana.
Yeah, she's on the record.
Back when people did the show in person, she sat right here.
Huge coup. My huge coup is getting Juliana Hatfield on the record.
She's amazing. But exactly what you said, like, one of my favorite all-time songs is Screaming Jay Hawkins, I Put a Spell on You, right? And great
it's
song.
One of the greatest vocals of all time.
There's
one of the greatest
takes,
vocals of all time.
Other takes from that session aren't great. Like, they're missing this like weird, and it's a good song, and other people do fun covers of it, but that one take, that's the song that's released, there's like a crazy, like, perfect everything. It just works, and that's all live, that song, and that's what I think of when you describe that.
Yeah, and it's very important, and And I'm just trying to release it in a way where it can take purchase in hearts and minds, because the one thing that I've really been meditating on and talking to my other artist friends, because I'm trying to also talk more, spend more time. I think in the past and other releases, I would have not done so many podcasts. I would have not there's clips of me online now in interviews and stuff like that. My friend sat down, he's documenting the whole process of Boys Talking. And putting this more online, but we maybe haven't quantified yet how much time plays a role in art. Again, this is where you and I started this conversation. Back to the Future had, no pun intended, all the time it needed to take root, because the 20th century was a renaissance of human beings recording themselves visually and auditorially. The Renaissance is over, and now we have to figure out what to do, how to say goodbye to the Renaissance, how to let it go, how to celebrate it, and what to do next with the forms. Because watercolor painting had a renaissance, marble statue had a renaissance. People can still work with all those mediums, be very successful, and make just as important work. But these things had our time because they had the lens. The lens now is digital media, apps, social media. That's the Renaissance now, good or bad. And Tipper Gore thought that Renaissance was bad.
Right. Thank God for Dee Snider.
Yeah.
Or my favorite thing is Al Gore talking about Darling Nikki. I mean, are we ever going to get that again? Just reading the most white flat man ever reading the lyrics to Darling Nikki.
Right. And the most important shit ever is Frank Zappa from that time period.
Yeah.
And what he was doing, which and that extends to Carlin and Carl Sagan. They were talking. They knew where that concern then was leading to now, without even worrying about it. David Bowie also mentioned it, and then the mothers of all of us, Maya Angelou and everyone, they could see all us boys screwing it up.
Well, the 21st century and 20th century, like pop culture in the scheme of things is a little blip. Like I always remind people, I'm like, rock and roll is 70 years old. Like there are people who are alive now who were born when it didn't exist. Like it's, so the fact that from like 1955 to 2000, so much happened. There were like all these musical movements and waves and different reinventions. And then it kind of stopped. It's kind of amazing that in that short period, because then I feel like a lot of what's happened after the millennium, and this is true in remakes of things and all this other stuff, is people just reconfiguring existing things, almost from like a post-apocalyptic world where they're like, well, these are all the pieces. We can't make any new ones. So let's just see if we can reconfigure them. And it's, I'm it's a folk hip hop group or like whatever. And I'm like, no, you can still do stuff. You're not like just mix. You don't have to just mix things.
Right.
So it's like, it's possible, but you're right. Yeah. The people aren't necessarily, they're not the innovators and they're not the first people to use that medium, but that doesn't mean you have to just do what's been done already.
Oh yeah. And it's so, the stuff being made now is so powerful. There's probably more, I think there's more stunning and amazing music now than ever. It's just not through a collective lens.
Right.
And we have to figure out how to be all right with that. And in my model is I'm going to try to have more with less.
Yeah.
And empower the people participating to feel like they are enough for me and I'm enough for them. And that's wonderful, because really we're just talking about measurements.
Yeah.
We're just talking about measurements.
It's volume.
And I think with everything going on, we do want a world that feels like it's sharing a reality. And art culture created a shared reality. Everyone knew who Michael Jackson was. Everyone knew what Star Wars was, and had seen some, it is on TV at some point, and it was on the 5, 10 to 20 channels that would happen, or you rented it and it's in the rental place. We were having a shared reality. We don't have a shared reality right now. Which is
good and bad. And like the old punk rocker in me is like, everyone can do everything now, which is great and also terrible. Because, there were gatekeepers and, talented people didn't get opportunities and stuff. But at the same time, it was, you were weighing it against that. Well, there's a certain bar of this is good quality, or, we can all experience this. And, that brings you back to like, when we were growing up, you got exposed to all kinds of things, whether you wanted to or not. Like there was music, like, I listened to Top 40. I was on, listening to Shadow Stevens and Casey Kasem doing the American Top 40.
Totally.
And, a lot of that stuff I loved, and I wouldn't have purposefully gone out and listened to, some of these groups are like, but got exposed to it and you discover stuff that you like. And that now it's like, you can listen to anything you want, but you already have to know what you like.
Yeah. And I'm guilty of it too. Like it has to grab me in some way right away. And I hate that. I work against it. I try to do things against it, but,
you're human,
we're in the tyranny of I call it the tyranny of content, and it's not healthy. And it won't always be this way too. When people say Spotify this, Spotify that, I go, do you know the argument used to be against Tower Records or the grip of radio power or whatever, or MTV? I mean, those things mean nothing now.
Yeah.
Nothing now.
Yeah.
And they were everything. And Spotify will mean nothing one day.
Yeah. Or it's like I see people with this nostalgia for Blockbuster. And I'm like, not to be an old man, but Blockbuster was garbage. And it killed all the good video stores. And it's the reason we don't have video stores. Yeah, but they're still like, oh, this thing. And so it's just that little bit of time for a different sort of distribution method. People will develop a nostalgia for it. And so where, but did you grow up in Boston proper? Did you?
No, I mean, majority of my life is spent there now as an adult. I went to UMass Boston.
Okay.
But Arlington, Andover. My father always lived in Melrose and Saugus.
I grew up in Melrose.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Lynn Fells Parkway, right on the Stoneham line, was my dad.
That's I'm in Stoneham now.
Killer, man. Yeah. I lived in LA for a hot beat, but as soon as I got a record deal, they were like, "All right, come. We're gonna make it with this big producer." I was like broke and had left LA and. To like come back to LA, I was like, no, I'm gonna make it with my homies in Boston.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy. Like, there's enough good people here. Yeah,
yeah, and we did it, and it worked out, and that record did all those things, and there's a certain price, there's a glass ceiling, you know. It's not, and it could always. The interesting thing about Boston is its culture is high and mighty, like the BSO in the museums, and culture. Today we're talking about culture.
Yeah. And
then there's sports, you know, but there's the middle ground of culture here is always struggling. The weird of culture, I'm going against the grain of culture. That being said, I feel like the past 5 to 10 years, people are putting effort into changing that. And I really feel like people are listening to each other. If the Commonwealth of Massachusetts understood what it had here for music talent, I don't want to say we'd be better off or anything like that. I just want to say they would be better off.
Yeah, it's a weird.
Actually,
I've noticed the vibe change. And like when we were growing up, Boston, 30% of our population was students. So you had these like people coming from the outside. You have this very highbrow old money, but while still a very blue collar provincial place. So there was all these sort of factions that meant nothing sort of integrated completely. And every 4 years at a minimum, you were getting a complete turnover of like youth culture, like just a complete refresh. And I've noticed that doesn't seem to quite be happening, at least in the last 10 years. And I don't know if it's because I feel like college kids stay on their campuses more, so they're sort of not affecting the culture of the city as much. Or, even right down to like in the summer, there's still traffic. Like it used to always be like, soon as school's out, I'm like, something is different.
That's so true, man. That is so true. I think I've been in denial of the fact that the summer doesn't feel emptier.
No, it's the same all the time. So I'm like,
well, that's a seaport. That's because we have a new city in the ocean.
Yes. Yeah. That's where Spencer for Hire was shot and where you would dump bodies.
Yeah, I know. And now I don't know where to put them. It's like
you could drive to New Hampshire to dump a body.
I drive into Providence all the time. It's exhausting.
They need to build a new mall down there, so there's some concrete to dump people. But it just has a different vibe where it's, I think, in some ways better because it does feel more coherent's not the right word, but because those sort of pockets don't exist and that clash of things, it's not quite as interesting to me, maybe, but it could just because I'm used to it.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. I'm having a good time here. The thing is, I get out, so I could get out. Like
you travel and come back, yeah.
Yeah, I think my management has a hard time being like saying no to the offers in the greater Boston area because there's so many things to do and I get asked a lot now because I've just been around so long. And measuring like which things we should do, but and I like, it would be nice just to root down in another city for me and be a musician there. Like creatively, I crave it. It's just impossible. I got a little kid in school.
Oh yeah, it's all the adult stuff that you have that you can't just go away. So when you were growing up, how were you encountering music? Were you a radio guy? Did you guys have cable? Were you watching MTV?
Radio, MTV, old family. Like I went between two houses all the time, and so there's just so many different characters and different dynamics, and I just started to understand people through their music choices. and loved them through their music choices too. So it was all over the map. And then grunge was just, I was at the ripe age for that.
Yeah.
For that, riding that whole wave. I just remember that shift. And I remember playing music when I was small and wanting to and dreaming of it, but I was thinking like, oh, I don't sound like Axl Rose.
Right.
I don't sound like AC/DC and Robert Plant and all these things. And then the grunge guys came along and they're just like, oh, you sound like your soul needs to sound.
Yeah. You can all sound like you look.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I think we lucked out here too because we had such great college radio. But even like BCN, which was like our mainstream station, like you would hear all kinds of stuff that most of the country isn't getting exposed to.
Oh yeah, totally. And there was a pride in, like, for me, like, I'm going to go to the city because Buffalo Tom and Letters to Cleo and Belly, those things, those three and Juliana and Lemonheads were just so influential to my sense of this is my place, this is where I'm from. And to just be friends with them now and have them on my records and them be my mentors. I mean, it's a win. You also have to take those kind of, to grow up, when you grow up and like, oh, success in music is MTV or radio, right. And it's ubiquity. It's Grammys.
Yeah. Everyone knows you.
Yeah, everyone knows you. I've just been carving a completely different path for 20 years, and we just posted this clip where I'm talking about it. But in this business, you're always being told what you're not. And I guarantee you right now, Taylor Swift just made $1 billion, and somebody in her camp is saying, so how do we get you to that Stevie Nicks level next?
Level,
Like that's just what we're missing, some things, and somebody somewhere. It might even be in her own head from somebody quietly. And that's just what happens in the arts. And that, again, that's really that person talking about themselves.
Yeah.
And when I put my whole story together and my journey together, and Boston's such a huge part of it, I'm like, man, this is incredible. If I can get my mindset in that pattern of like, wait a second, Juliana Hatfield singing on your record, Bill Janovitz gave you a hug on stage on that.
You have to remind yourself.
Together.
Yeah, like Bill's a buddy.
Or just like you play with Eddie Vedder, like that was your guy, and you play with him, and it's just
he knows who you are, and you played with him.
Yeah, and your hero is like the person you should meet, and I just have this reoccurring thing that it doesn't matter. Like I'm playing tomorrow night somewhere, and my brain is like, so there's gonna be one person there. I gotta give them the best show possible, and then there's people there, and like there's people there, and like. The show last week, I finished off a little run with my band, and it was just fucking wonderful, and gives me the fuel to survive what's going on now and be of use right now to what's going on, and to help cope, fight back, build, coalesce. Because of it, because of this path, and it doesn't mean it's easy or hard, or there's the misconception and the lies that there is a finish line.
No, it's all
there's a destination.
There's no destination.
There's only process.
Yeah, 100%.
And when I produce other people's records, that's what I start with. It doesn't get better than right now than us making this.
Yeah, and we're just trying to capture
putting out records, and putting out records and talking about it. That's why I have the $10 song and my boys talking I'm releasing it this way because I want releasing it to feel at least somewhat closer to process.
Yeah.
Because I have friends doing incredible work, and I have a buddy right now who's got a record out and it's doing great in media, and I just know in 3 weeks he's like, all right, but now what do I do? It's over.
Right.
What I love about Boys Talking, Boys Talking is always tomorrow for me right now. And that's the problem. That's what I struggle with at night. It's like, it hasn't happened yet until I'm with people, and that's how it should be.
Right. It's like the Schroeder's cat, like it needs someone to observe it in order to exist, kind of thing.
I am building that box. I'm building that box, and every night I'm like, I want to open it so bad and find out if it's alive.
He died
like,
tonight.
Just wait. Bring the box to a crowd of people and talk about whether it's alive or not.
Yeah, but that's the magic of it. Like, and even, to your point, like movies when we were growing up, and this is, COVID kind of changed it, but even movies had that time to like, a movie was out for like a year. Yeah. Like it would play and kind of travel and then come back, and it kind of had a life cycle. And albums sort of did as well, where they would release like 3, 4, 5 singles or something. You know, it kind of evolves. But, the nature of things now, that doesn't happen. It doesn't exist like that. And TV's the same way, where we're not all watching the same thing at the same time and then having a week to ruminate on it and talk about it with everybody before the next one, because people can kind of do everything whenever they want. And, I'm a huge David Lynch fan, and I loved the Twin Peaks Return, which I don't know if you watched or if you were a fan of.
I'm waiting. I've watched a little bit. I'm waiting to get like the flu or something like that. And I want to start from the beginning again, because I lost and then the moment passed when everything picked up again. I was like, and I tried to I haven't watched Breaking Bad. Like I'm just like, one day I will, and I'm going to do it when it's right.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Instead of when everyone's like, "Oh, you got to see this right now," I'm like so contrary.
But I did it with Andor. I watched Andor, and I was totally transfixed. I thought that was brilliant.
And that was coming out weekly. You couldn't there was still time. Yeah.
And the show was slow, and it helped me rewire my synapses, especially with a platform like Star Wars, where I thought you're tricked into thinking, where's the cool gunfight going to happen, or space? It wasn't about that.
Yeah.
And it was so healthy for my brain too. And I'd kind of fallen off Star Wars too. I don't know what's going on. I didn't need to know what's going on.
You didn't need to know. It was a world you're familiar with, but a part of it that you weren't. And that's
and sadly, part of it that you are really familiar with. That you don't want to be. It's like, how are they writing the future of right now, 2025 and 2024, when they wrote it and created it?
Well, I don't know if you watched the Good Wife or anything that the couple who made that show made. Like The Good Fight was amazing, and they were literally like writing and shooting and releasing a show in 2 weeks. So like The Good Fight was like very topical, and one of the best hours of television I've ever seen was, I think it was season 4. The season had to stop because of COVID. So like halfway through they had to stop shooting. So when they came back a year later, they had an episode called Previously On, and it was set up like, the little Previously On things at the beginning of an episode, but it was the whole episode, and it was all stuff we hadn't seen. It was stuff that was supposed to happen in that time they weren't shooting, and it's amazing, and it's so good, and it's literally real time.
That's The Good Fight?
Yeah, and that was the sequel to The Good Wife. They did 10 seasons, I think, of The Good Wife, and then the same characters continue in The Good Fight.
God, you love The Good Wife. You are giving that some love today.
It's real good. It's weird to see a show that's that smart.
Yeah.
On a major network, or that good with character.
I loved Barry. Barry was a favorite showman recently, like past 5 years.
Yeah,
or whatever. But the problem is to our conversation here, it's hard to retain. And what happens to me is, because of the tyranny of content, if I watch something and I love it, here's season 2. And I was like, I don't know what's going on anymore. I forgot.
Yeah, I'm lost. I'll have to go back and rewatch it like right now.
Yeah, so I've been mostly on movies and stuff, and like a friend of mine got me into Rick and Morty, and then I was like, oh, it's a brilliant show, and then I couldn't keep track after a year went by or something.
Yeah, the things that make it great, the serialization also, makes it, it's like work involved to like stay up to date.
It's not taking that slow burn into your soul.
Yeah, exactly.
Hence why I'm doing my record this way.
Well, you mentioned before we were talking, you were mentioning SNL, like, was that like, that was definitely a huge place I saw artists, like, and when I go back and look at some of the bands that played on SNL, and like Fridays actually was even crazier, but like, the Replacements were on SNL, like bands that I'm surprised ever performed on there.
I have on Instagram, I got an SNL music feed, and Instagram knows, like, this is what he wants to see today. And that's what it gives me. It tries to do that and sell me guitar stuff. And, it's so rich, and SNL is, I love watching people say it's not fun anymore. this wasn't the good era. Now it's fallen so off. And that's been happening since episode 2 of the first
Of course,
season.
yeah.
And it's really, that show is about process for me. I love a skit that fails. I love watching a skit that doesn't work. I love watching a show that doesn't work and the one that does. And just thinking like they wrote that this week and why is it going this way? And why don't they do more of that one? And of course I have favorite moments and favorite people. And I remember watching it one year. We were on the road with one of my longer running band outfits and the guitarist, my friend Matt Penn, who's now playing with everybody in the world. Kanye West was on, and this is like 2010 or something like that. And he had totally gotten rid of the SNL performing stage and made this thing. I was like, oh, this is so cool. And he said, yeah, except that what's cool about the performing stage is like you have to shine on that platform that everyone shined before. And I was like, oh man, that is so true.
You can't warp reality around you to fit your thing. You got to fit your thing.
And can you be weird and different in the thing without having to say, I need to do away with everything? And not that I think doing away with it's bad either, but it's just, it's great to watch people over the decades go in there and try to do that, or trying to make a sketch work in 1 week. If you know the inner workings of how that show works,
it's insane.
It's just, it doesn't need to be funny for me to be fascinated by it on the creative level, on the production level, on the human side. All of it. When it's funny, that's a bonus.
Yeah, it's like a stunt. Like everyone I know who's, friends who've worked on that show, they're like, I'm so glad I did it. I would never do it again, and it was awful, but it was great experience. It was just like hell on earth to go through. But they're like,
that's why Kenan Thompson is the GOAT. Like, how is he doing this?
Yeah.
How is he doing this?
He like doesn't know anything else at this point. He's been, between all that stuff he was doing before, isn't it? Like he's been doing his whole life. Like,
he must not go in on Tuesdays and Wednesdays or something.
No, I'm sure he's not there for
show me,
pitches.
what do you want me on? Okay, text it to me. I got it.
Yeah. He's in a unique position to be like, I'll be fine the night of the show.
Yeah. And I'm so excited for there's an interesting thing too, where, people are talking about the political choices of the past 5 years and how it's all old dudes, and it is, and how boomers are not letting go of political power.
Mm-hmm.
I go, yeah, but the Rolling Stones are still touring.
Yeah.
And Lorne Michaels is not letting go of SNL. This is not just politics.
Yeah.
That generation, because of our advancements in humanity and with everything else going wrong, the advancements are 80-year-olds can kind of do their job. Like I saw Paul Simon the other day at 84, and he was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
He sounded like an 84-year-old, but it was an honest 84-year-old performance. Paul McCartney's not letting go of power either.
No.
There weren't 80-year-old performers when we were coming up.
No.
Filling stadiums.
No.
So we are in more of a cultural shift in our generation, kind of getting overlooked because power hasn't been handed to us yet. But maybe we'll be 90-year-olds doing comedy podcasts and music and performing and getting up and participating in culture because of it. So that's just a rant that I have, because I was like, yeah, I know these politicians should let go, and they're not, but no one else is either.
Yeah, it's not just them.
No one else is either.
Yeah.
Business leaders, nobody is. Professors. And what is it about not just the advancements in healthcare that are allowing people to live longer, but maybe the insecurity of stopping? Like, what is that?
It's almost like instinct too. Like they don't know anything else. Because there's people who I'm like, you could have retired so long ago. And they're like, well, this is the only, I'm like, it's a routine or something. But, and side note, like the SNL is bad now, always comes up. And the best answer I ever heard is there is a definitive answer to the best season of SNL, inarguable best season of SNL. And it's whatever it was when you were 12.
Yes.
That's like that's the greatest season of SNL. And after it's not
for
as
me,
good.
it's not.
I don't think so.
Is it that for you? Okay, yeah, me neither.
No, maybe.
But that is the definitive answer for the person who says that.
Yes, yeah. And for most people.
I mean, me, it's Hader, Wig, Forte.
So later,
tail end of Will Ferrell. Will Ferrell's tail end, that's great because I mean he was astounding, but Will Forte is probably my favorite.
Yeah. Have you seen the movie Extraordinary?
Not yet.
Oh, it's so good.
Like I want to watch everything because I try to watch everything he does, even if he does voiceover stuff. Yeah. I just adore him, and I in Hater too. I adore, and what was it? Oh, what was it? Where he was like the last man? Is it Last Man on Earth?
Last Man on Earth. Yeah.
Love that show.
Yeah, Kristen Shaw, and yeah. But he had the juice to make a weird show like that. That's the great thing about a show like that is, you know, a kind of weirdo can get through an ensemble and then have the juice to make something they wanted to make that shouldn't have been on the air. Or like, even I think of like Dan Aykroyd, who is out of his mind. Like Dan Aykroyd is a crazy person. And like the fact that like he got movies made, like let alone Ghostbusters or like something that's completely uncensored Aykroyd, like Nothing But Trouble or stuff like that. I'm like, that's the beauty of SNL. When you could see that kind of thing, you're like, this is some studio gave this person all this money to make this complete insanity. That's what I like seeing.
That is crazy too. I mean, you don't really see that happening with, you're like, oh, well, you know, our platforms have taken over so much of comedy and so much of sketch and everybody's. That's the thing about when you can witness everybody in the rectangle in your hand, you realize everyone's amazing and talented and wonderful and interesting, and maybe it makes some of these legacy things less interesting. Maybe not for me. But the workshop to have something where you can make some weird ass movie because Chris Farley was doing that shit.
Right.
It's this only place that it could have happened. And I got emotional watching all that 50th. I was so dedicated to all that 50th anniversary stuff. Watched every second. I had friends there texting the whole time. I was just so into it. And for me, creatively, it feeds me, you know, to think of them in process every week, to see when it's working, when it's not. The weird stuff. And one of my favorites ever is, if you're not familiar, but there's this Forte and Sudeikis skit. It's like the potato chip NASA skit.
Okay,
I think it's called.
I don't know it.
Where it probably aired late in the
it's the 11:50 sketch. Yeah,
yeah, it's long, wacky, and weird. Pure commitment to the weirdness of it, and the two of them committed so much in the silly jokes, Forte jokes that are in there. I just watch it to help, you know, strengthen my own commitment.
Yeah, it's like, and that wouldn't have been on if they didn't need to fill 90 minutes or an hour and 5 minutes every week. Like that weird one would have been, you know, cut out if we have 6 months to whittle this down to the real, like, no, you're going to put the weird one on.
Especially when you find out they don't carry skits over and over and over too much. Like you might rewrite it and reconstitute
use
it,
a character,
re-sneak it in. Maybe you snuck it in as a suggestion for one host and then you just kind of built. But or they worked on it until it was ready and then made the pitch. But if it gets to a workshop area or it gets to rehearsal and gets cut, then it's over.
Yeah, that's never coming back.
So to see something, that's when you know the inner workings of it too. Like the show's a miracle.
Yeah, I would just say it was like my baseball. Like I could tell you who wrote what sketch, what they're at, you know, like all that kind of stuff till about 2000. But then like when I've talked to people who've been on it, like Veruca Salt I had on the show and they didn't get to do 2 songs, but they were supposed to. And the reason they didn't get to do 2 songs was because Sting hosted and Sting decided he wanted to do a song while they were filming. So like that kind of stuff, when then I rewatch it, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Or like, Jean Garofalo's a buddy, and she was on the show, and she quit the show in her first episode. Right. And she said she literally told Lauren that it's on air, and she's like, I can't do this anymore. I quit. And he said to her, he goes, oh, Jeanine, you can't quit because Don Pardo's about to say your name. So like it was literally at that minute. But then when I look back at that season, she's in all the like commercial parodies and stuff because they shot that all over the summer. But then she's not really in any sketches throughout the rest of the year. So like that stuff then I rewatch it and I'm like, oh, that's crazy. Like, yeah, you know, it's just, it's endlessly entertaining to me.
Yo, they're shooting those parodies in the week now, though.
Yeah, because but they were shooting them on film before in the summer. Like they were shooting them like you would actually shoot a commercial. So, you know, they're doing like
they look different. They would even look different when it aired. Yeah.
Yeah, they would be on film and it would take like, you know, months of production. But yeah, I mean, they can shoot stuff and air it the same day now if they need to.
God, that's so Sting of him to do that.
Oh, of course.
And I love Sting.
Total Sting thing. Total Sting move. Yeah, even Nina was like, I mean, it's Sting. Like, we're gonna play another song. All right. And it's not like
go check out Potato Chip NASA, Will Forte.
I will watch that. And then to wrap up, do you have a favorite TV theme song?
Favorite TV theme song?
Because often for people, it's their first favorite song because you can hear it every week.
Yeah, I mean, my first TV memory is like MacGyver. You know, like MacGyver was like my first kid show. But a lot of the things like your family would watch, more than theme song, it's like the music that played. God, that guy walked off in the distance. It was just
on the Hulk. Bum 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 bum. The Hulk.
Yeah,
ending?
But not just the Hulk, but it was like, damn, I forget. I had a stepsister, and she would record in her boombox a theme song. She would record Three's Company episodes into a tape cassette.
Just audio, yeah. A lot of people did that.
Yeah, and I would be like a little kid, and she's like, "We're gonna listen." She's like 6 years older than me. So yeah, we're going to listen to Three's Company. And I would listen to Three's. That's how she would entertain me, like when I'll go to my dad's house.
But you could reverse engineer timing and stuff. Like there are people I knew who became TV writers by doing that. Like they never saw a script format. They'd get an audio tape of like a Sanford and Son, and then they'd sit there and reverse engineer the structure.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, so many of those things. I saw a clip, the music part. I saw a clip. And I didn't know what the end of the show was, but it's all the credits rolling. Mm-hmm. And it's all that 80s and 70s stuff, which was interesting then, the 70s stuff, like you could stream it now, but it would be on your TV, right? Like in the 80s and the 90s. And the tail end, when it's the credits, that music was so harmonically interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, they had real musicians and bands playing. And I saw a clip online of one of those credits, and I didn't catch the show, but it immediately filled me with that, I don't want to say nostalgia, this like connective tissue of like, wow, that music really informed me because it was harmonically fascinating. Like there was major sevenths being used, which you just wouldn't be allowed right now.
Yeah.
Like
or there wouldn't even be a theme. Yeah. Or like,
it wouldn't be a theme. They wouldn't allow the time for it.
No. Well, I think of like the Barney Miller theme, which is like one of the best funk songs ever. Yeah. It's in like a weird time signature. It's got a weird bass thing. Like I wouldn't have been exposed to a song that sounded like that, let alone every week. Right.
That was good stuff. I don't really have a specific one. I should have prepped for this.
It's quite
but I do enjoy the way it all makes me feel. And I detest the argument of things were better back then and stuff like that. You know, I want to be in present tense. I think now we will lament how much, like I'm watching the show, my wife and I are watching the show. She loved it and she's rewatching it with me because she wanted to watch it and I am enjoying it. The Great.
I haven't seen it.
It's on Hulu right now.
Okay.
Has Dakota Fanning and the guy who's about to play Lex Luthor. I forget, Nick Holt.
Oh yeah, Nick Holt. Yeah, who was in About a Boy, I think, as a kid.
Yeah, it's a fun. Yes, it's a fun. They're brilliant actors. Great chemistry. Catherine, they're great. Just reimagined with British accents and stuff like that. You know, it's just make completely, maybe even not even true at all.
Yeah, the best TV.
But in that whole the music placement's a lot like a Sofia Coppola placement, or the big last 30-second moment of every episode. This killer indie rock track or synth track or classic song you never heard of drops, and it's the whole credits, and it's each time I'm just like, oh, they use that song, or I'm Shazamming it.
Yeah.
I feel like that's such a brilliant thing of the now, where art is being paired, to the beginning of our conversation here, is being paired with art in a beautiful way.
You can do an anachronistic
that
song that sort of sums up the feeling of this whole episode, and you get the context. Yeah. I'm
like she's like holding her lover's severed head in the end of the shot, and the song's hilarious, and just the way they chose that, and like, okay, I don't need to be crushed that she's holding his head. That'll be just the whimsicalness of the show.
She's like, undermine some of the horror by sort of taking
yes,
it.
And that choice informs so much, and that's a beautiful thing of way music's being utilized now that I really enjoy. And you know, I don't need to hear another Who song in a TV show, right? Like,
oh, you won't be fooled again? Is that what's happening?
right. Or who are you? And like, it's just there's certain things that have been played out, and I think the legacy the great acts are not utilized as well. I don't need to hear Rolling Stones in a Scorsese film again. I don't need to hear if a movie trailer has "Gimme Shelter" in it. I'm like, all right, I need to see that movie. Yeah. I know they don't have any new ideas. There's no new ideas in this movie.
I will recommend, if you've never seen it, Joe Pera Talks with You, which is a comedian, Joe Pera. He is the most unique comedian I've ever seen. I don't know how I love Joe. I don't know how his brain works. It's so funny and sweet and sad. And Will McRobb, who created The Adventures of Pete and Pete, has given me like a lifelong philosophy where he said, everything I created, there has to be 4 things. It has to be funny, strange, sad, and beautiful. And so I like realized that's the criteria for everything I like. I just didn't know it. And Joe Pera Talks with You is 100% that. They're short episodes, but he has an episode.
Say that again, because I feel like you just described how I like my show to go.
Funny, strange, sad, and beautiful. And I'm like, he's like, everything I wrote.
Concert should go.
Yeah, he's like, has to have those things. I'm like, that's a life philosophy. Like everything I like has those things. But Joe Pera's show has that. And there's one episode where he hears Baba O'Reilly on the radio and he's never heard it before. And he becomes obsessed with it and he's telling everybody about it. And he goes to church and he's like reading and he starts telling everybody.
I think I have seen this. That is
funny.
Brilliant. No, and
so
that's
funny.
But that's also cathartic.
Yeah.
It's cathartic because, you know, Gimme Shelter and Bob O'Reilly are
everybody's heard of
the but that's the Renaissance.
Yeah.
That's the Renaissance. You know, and the Renaissance is also like dragging us down right now.
Yeah.
It's pulling us down. It's pulling us down with our leadership. It's pulling us down in our art, you know, and it's watering down the importance of some of these things because we don't know. Maybe we're utilizing them too much to have that interconnectivity.
Yeah, we can't experience
because we don't have it right now.
Yeah, we can't experience it.
Only our horrors are interconnectivity.
Yeah,
are our interconnectivity right now.
That's a sad thing. Someone said that to me too. I'm like, what are people shared experience? And they were like, disasters.
Yeah. So, and it's not going to come. You know, however we reconstitute ourselves to find that again, and we will. It's hard to see right now. So it's reminders like that bit are good because yes, it is too much and obnoxious, but hey, that shit is fucking phenomenal.
Oh yeah, if someone can find a new way to make it interesting again, you're like, it's not over. I was a little bit wrong. Right. It's possible. And like those little glimpses I love. Like that we need more.
I'd rather hear Perfume Genius though at the end of a show right now.
Fair enough, yeah.
Anything else or Guided by Voices or just anything, you know?
Yeah, I want Bulldog Skin to end my show that's set in the 1930s. There you go. Like, that just makes no sense, but it works.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I'm so glad you had a chance to the time to sit down and talk to me. This has been great.
My pleasure. It's been a lovely conversation. I've enjoyed it. Let's do it in person next time.
There you go. That's Will Dailey, whose new album is not out. Boys Talking. Go to willdailey.com. You can check out the lowdown there. And does anyone say the high down or like the high up? Like high up. Here's the high up for everybody. I think my brain is boiling. So I'm going to do some a word logic on my own, so people don't have to hear me lose my mind. But you can hear me semi-coherently lose my mind next week on a brand new edition of TV Guidance Counselor.
We'd have to undisgust ourselves in front of each other if we were going to be together to do this.